Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this Dell Inspiron 15 model 5565. So you're going to need a PH1 and a PH00 screwdriver. Okay, so first what you want to do is take the PH1 screwdriver and undo all the screws from the bottom. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so to remove the CD drive, you take out this one screw. Alright, I think actually you have to take out both of these screws. After that, you can get a pry tool or your fingernail and just pull the bezel out just like this, and the CD drive should come out. If it gets stuck, you might have to kind of pull up or just flip the computer upside down like this, and then you can pull it out easier. Okay. Alright, once you remove those, you will need to switch to the PH00 and then remove the 3 screws here. You do want to make sure you keep all the screws in the right order, and put the screws back where you took them out from. These 2 screws are different. I don't know if there's other screws. Okay, these 2 screws are different, and then these 3 are different as well. So keep that in mind. You want to try and keep them in order and put them back where you found them. Alright, once you get all the screws out, we're going to have to pop the cover open. So what you do, let me move this. Okay, let me see if I can show this without showing the notes on this thing. But what you do is on this part of the computer here, there's a gap. Okay, this is where the palm rest is. And basically what you do is you get your pry tool or your fingernails in between the gap, and you kind of just pull on it like other models I have, and you just go around. Okay, and then you push with your thumbs down, and then you pull up with your fingers on the other, between the gaps of the case. Okay, so you just go all the way around just like that. Keep turning it over. Lift the cover on everywhere. Sorry, it's going off the view of the camera, but it's hard to do this while in view of the camera. Alright, and you just go all the way around just like that. Okay, once you get everything unclipped, you can kind of lift the cover, wiggle it, and pop it off. It comes out just like that. Okay, so this one, the fan is kind of spinning loudly. I hope it's just a thermal paste issue and not some weird software or something. So what we're going to do is remove the fan here. I'm actually going to show how to change the hard drive. I need to take the hard drive out from this actually. So we are going to actually take out the fan completely to remove the connector. There's not really much wiggle room, so what I'm going to have to do is use my fingernail on this side and then use the screwdriver on this side and kind of just push. Let me zoom in actually. So on the connector here, if you can see it, so basically I push one side with my thumbnail and then the other side with the screwdriver, and I just wiggle it and just keep wiggling this connector. Be careful not to scratch the motherboard or the logic board with the screwdriver, and just keep wiggling it, and it should eventually pop out just like that. Okay. Alright, so let's zoom back out. Oops, sorry. There we go. Zoom out some more. There we go. Okay, so now that we got that out, we are going to remove the heatsink. There's just the 4 screws. Using the PH1, just undo the 4 screws. Alright, just spin it until you hear it making the clicking sounds. Alright. Just like that, and then lift it from the bottom here. You don't want to lift from the pipe or you can possibly bend it. Be careful because the wires are kind of routed along and holding it in place, it looks like. So you might have to take these cables out. Is this thing adhered to the bottom? Okay, it looks like this cable is also stuck, the white ribbon cable. So you might have to hold that down and then pull up the thing. I don't know why they stuck that on there. That looks like a pain to remove. I don't know. It's being difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the fan from the what do you call, from the shell, I guess. Alright, so we're going to remove the 2 screws on the fan here using the PH00. I think that'll work, and then I can leave the fan in place. Let's see if that will work, because they put an adhesive and I don't want to tear the cable. The white ribbon cable underneath is for the power button, so you don't want to damage that. Alright, once you remove those 2 screws, then you can lift this whole thing out and leave the fan in place. As you can see, when I lift this white cable kind of lifts up with it. I don't know why they decided to put an adhesive there. Kind of a stupid idea. But now I'm going to take the screw and then just put this back to hold the fan back in place. I'm going to put it loosely because I will have to adjust this later when I put that back in. Okay. Alright. So I guess now we can clean the fan since it's open completely. So just brush off any dust from here. Okay. And this has the thermal paste all over the place. So what I do to get that out, I just get a napkin or paper towel. Okay. If you want to be safe, you can disconnect the battery and everything first. They do mount all these things in here. I probably should have mentioned this first, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can badly damage your computer. So let's take out the battery. I'm going to take out the 1 screw down here. We'll take the other screw out down here. Again, try and keep the screws in order to put them back in the same place you took them out from. If you can't do it well, what you can do is take pictures of them and then keep that, so that way you know where everything goes. Okay. Alright, so there's 1 screw up here as well. Take that one out. There's the CMOS battery here, the BIOS battery. You don't need to remove that. Then you got the speaker cable here. This comes out just like the fan screw, as well as the CMOS battery. I'm going to take these out because I am going to have to clone the hard drive. This is an SSD, but I was trying to migrate some stuff to try something, and I found out it wasn't a software issue, it was something else causing it. Right, so we took out this cable. To take these cables out, you just flip these little latches up and then pull it back. To put it back in, you just, same thing, pull up the little latch and then you just put the cable in and then take it back at, put the latch back down. I'm going to take the 4 screws out for the hard drive or the SSD. This is a 2.5-inch SATA drive. I did upgrade this before, and that's why it has an SSD already in there. Alright, so we're going to remove the 3 screws holding this. I thought there was 4, but there's only 3. Alright, so just remove those 3. I don't know why there's a big hole here. I think that the shell kind of probably has a screw that goes in to hold it. So we'll take the 4 out. If you do need to upgrade this to a different hard drive or SSD, there's 4 screws holding this bracket in place. You have to transfer it to the new drive. And then to remove this bracket, you want to kind of be careful, because if you pry on this black plastic piece, it's most likely going to come out. So what I do is I pull it out slightly, and then I usually will get my pry tool between here. So let's see if I can, we'll try and do it the other way. Let's see. So you can go from this side, use your pry tool, and then you can pry it up just like that. Okay, so that came out. You don't want to just yank on this black plastic piece because it could just pop off. So I'm going to set that aside. Alright, we'll set that aside as well. Okay, so what we're going to do we got all these cables out. We're going to take the battery out. So the battery is here, and the battery actually connects here. So we could have actually disconnected the battery without taking it out, but you just disconnect it just by pulling and wiggling that back. So I took all those screws out for nothing, I guess. I will put them back. Actually, I'll take it out just to show you. So we got the battery connector out. Let's lift the battery up. And this battery is actually going bad. It's kind of bulging out a little bit. That's not good. So this battery is failing. Cleaning the dust off because there's a lot of dust underneath on the bottom. Okay. So the battery, if you need to replace it, the model number is WDX0R, okay? So we'll set the battery aside as well. Okay, so you got the optical drive connector. To remove that, there's this little thing, you just pull it up. Alright, kind of wiggle it and pull it up, and then you can pull this connector out, just like that. I'm going to put it back in. I didn't mean to actually take it out, kind of meant to just mention it. Alright, so make sure that you get it back in properly. You want to make sure to get it lined up. Can be a little tricky, that's why I didn't mean to take it back out. Alright, once it's in, then hold the connector down and then push the little tab back down in place to lock it back down. Alright, just like that. Should hold it in place. Alright. Alright, so we got the RAM here. The RAM, it comes out like that. You just pull these two tabs to the side, it pops up at an angle. Then you can pop it out. So this is 8 gigs. Yours might be different. This is PC4 2400T. So if you plan to upgrade it, make sure to open yours and double check what you have inside your computer. So this computer has 16 gigs of RAM. Alright. Got the wireless card. I got several videos showing how to remove that. If you need help removing that, just watch my other videos. But you basically unscrew this. This plastic piece comes off. You can pop the antennas out by pulling on the tail. But yeah. Alright. And if you are going to mess with the LCD or LVDS cable, make sure that you open the computer. You do want to be careful because there's only one screw holding each side of the hinges. So what I do is I kind of lift it slightly, get my fingers under, and then I kind of help pull the hinges up like this, okay? Alright, and then once you get that, you can press and hold the power button under here. Alright, I'm going to hold that, and then press and hold the power button. That drains, since you took the battery out, it drains any power from the motherboard, and that will prevent you from accidentally damaging something if you pull the LVDS cable or the LCD cable out. Alright, after that I push down on the hinges here to put the screen back down. But yeah, if you mess with the LCD or LVDS cable, you almost always want to drain that first, or it's pretty risky. There's a high chance that you can damage something on the motherboard or the screen. Alright. Alright, so we got this cable for the USB board here. And I think it's also, yeah, the SD card slot. Then you got this cable here, and that's for the LED down here. You got the cable here for the trackpad, the keyboard backlight cable, this brown one, and then you got the keyboard cable. All of these, they come out the same as these cables. You just flip the latch up and pull it back. Alright. See, so that's pretty much all there is inside. I'm going to clean the thermal paste off here, and then we are going to reapply some new, better thermal paste. So to do this, usually I'll turn the laptop over, and then while I have it over a trash can, I will rub the thermal paste off. I'm going to attach this connector back in because it's flopping all over the place. Okay, so let me do that real quick, and then I'll bring it back in view. Alright, I'm back. So I cleaned off the thermal paste from here, and I also cleaned off the thermal paste from here. I did use a toothbrush to get the thermal paste out from between these little chips here. And then after you do that, what you want to do is take some rubbing alcohol. I have it in this little spray bottle, but this is isopropyl alcohol, 91%. All right, so what I do is I just put a little bit on the napkin, not enough to drip, but just enough to have the paper wet, and then I will clean off this surface. Okay, and then after that, dry it up. Same thing with this side. Okay, clean that off. I don't know what's stuck to this thing. There's some like black melted plastic or something stuck to the bottom of this, which is really weird. I'm gonna use something to try and scrape that off. Let's try with a flathead screwdriver. Let me see if this stuff even comes out. Nope. So I don't know what that black stuff on there is. It doesn't want to come out, but I guess I have to leave it there. So I'm gonna just try and clean it a little more. Okay. So here you can see it cleaned off the residue from inside. Okay, so now that we got all of that, make sure that you clean the inside of this heatsink as well, because it will be dusty. Alright. While you have it open, it's the best time that you can clean that. Okay. Alright. So test fit this again. Alright, I'm going to make sure to fit this properly. Since I moved the fan, I shouldn't have moved it because it was stuck to that piece, so it wouldn't matter. Okay, so let's move this back around. Okay, make sure everything is lined up. Looks good. I'm going to put the screw, tighten the screw back for the fan because I don't want it to move around. Alright, now let's take this back out. Okay, and now we need to apply new thermal paste. Alright, let's take this thing back out. So to apply new thermal paste, alright, just get the thermal paste. You don't need too much on this. Let me zoom in here so you can kind of see. Alright, I don't know if I'm getting it in view. Hopefully I have it in view. Okay, here. So this is a slightly larger one. Make sure you do get the dust off. There's some dust still on it. Oops. Okay, there we go. Alright, so for the thermal paste, you kind of want to, this is slightly bigger, so close to the size of a rice, but a little bit bigger. A grain of cooked rice, okay? So about there. Alright, and then you kind of want to have it centered as like a grain of rice on top. Alright, so that way when you put the other piece on top, it will smush out the thermal paste. It'll spread it out properly, and then that will eliminate any air bubbles that are in the paste. Okay, so just like that, you have a, hopefully you can actually tell what's going on, but it's like basically a grain of rice on there, but a little bit bigger. Okay, so that way when you tighten this down, it will spread it back out. Okay, so get this, put this back, make sure you get this piece to line up as well. It's hard to get this in view as well as helping you see properly, but line up the screws. Okay, drop this in place. Alright, so these screws are here, they have numbers on it, so there's a 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. So what I do is I'll twist it backwards until I hear the click, and then go 1, 2. Same thing over here. 1, 2, alright. 1, 2. 1, 2. All right, and then you just go again, 1, 2. Go again with this one, 1, 2. Again with this one, 2. This one, 1, 2. Keep going, 1, 2. Now it's tight. Make sure it's tightened all the way. All right. Make sure these screws are tightened all the way. All right, and then just give that a bit. We will switch to the PH0 or 00 bit. Put back the fan screws. All right. Oh, I might have to loosen this up because it's not lining up properly. So we're going to loosen up the fan again. We'll switch back to this. And hopefully we can get this to line up right. Let's see here. Alright. Line up the screw. Grab the other one. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. Tighten it down. Alright, tighten down the other one. Alright, so now that we got that all tightened in place, we'll tighten back down the fan. Alright, so that's about all there is. Let's zoom back out. This one's pretty simple to do the thermal paste. So I'm going to put the battery back here, but I'm not going to plug it in because I do need to do the hard drive thing as I mentioned earlier. Alright, line it up. Put that back in place. I'm going to leave that connector out because I'm going to have to put it back later. I'm going to put back the screws for the battery. So there's one screw here. And to put this back, it's very simple. You just snap the cover back on, and then you just put all the screws back in. Make sure to put the screws for underneath the CD drive, and then slide the CD drive back in. But that's pretty much all there is to this model. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe. I'm not going to show the full reassembly video because I need to clone over the hard drive to I made a clone of it earlier, but I need to clone it back now. So yeah, once again, hopefully this video helped you, and if it did, like and subscribe so other people can find this video. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget the screws for the batteries, and then the other 3 screws that we took out to hold the hard drive, 2 here and then 1 down here. Leave this one out. And yeah, again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.